Hey everybody, welcome back to Sport Bike Menace. Today we're going to talk about a mod that you can do on your throttle body if your bike is like an '08 and under. The '09s, for at least for the Suzuki's, I don't know for other brands, but for the Suzuki's, '09s changed their throttle body style. The '08 had the body style or the throttle body style of the older bikes, and I'm going to explain how. So you got your primary throttle plates down here. And then you got your secondary throttle plates up here. I removed mines, and that's a mod that you can do to your throttle body. Now I'm going to explain if you would want to do this, the positives and the negatives. Now again, I'm going to also talk about the biggest mistake I did to my throttle body, which I might have to order me a new throttle body or a used throttle body. They're hard to come by. I bet a lot of people they mess up their throttle body. Like I did, I messed up mine. I took the primary throttle plates out instead of taking the secondary throttle plates out. And they're not meant to be taken out. So I stripped the bolts out, and I had to use a drill bit and then drill it out. And as I did that, I also damaged the rail to put the throttle plates back on. So I had to grab the bolts from the top ones. I took those out. These were more easier to take out without damaging anything. So I took these out, but these were smaller bolts. But either way, I put them down here and then use JD Weld to fill in the blanks and to hold everything in place. And the same thing I did on each one. So that's how I was able to at least put a band-aid to my situation, because if not, then my bike would literally be down until I get a different throttle body. And again, this stuff is hard to come by. I found the one on eBay. It took too long, so they sold it. I can't find any more. No website has it. Called up salvage yards and everything. Nobody has it. So don't damage your throttle body. Do not take your primaries out. And I knew not to be taking these out, but the problem was I should have turned off my phone. People were calling me, people were texting me, and I lost focus on what I was doing when I took the throttle body off my bike. Instead of me putting it this way, so I would know that this is the top portion of it, I laid it down on the pavement like this. And, you know, again, was talking on the phone, wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing. It was not a good day to be on the phone, especially when you're working on something that can really damage and cost a lot of money. So I was talking on the phone. By the time I come back, I'm like ready to rock and roll. I started trying to take these bolts apart. I stripped them. It was like, oh, I gotta grab a drill bit, drill it out. And I didn't really care if I damaged them, because I thought they were, again, the secondary, sorry. The secondary. So I didn't really think it was a big deal. Then come to find out, when I put the everything back together, when I put the whole thing into the bike, again, it still didn't click in my head that I took the wrong ones out. I put it on the bike. These were still on. The secondaries were still on. The primaries were off. It didn't click in my head, and I'm going to be really honest. I even put the cables back on. I put all the hose back on. I put the fuel line back on. I put everything back together. Turned on the bike, and that was the loudest mistake I've ever did. If there is no primary throttle plates, and again, it goes by your throttle. So this right here. If this is not connected to your throttle plates, imagine that that's fully open. You no longer need that. You no longer need the throttle tube, because it's no longer connected to your throttle body. Your throttle tube is what tells the throttle body to open up and close. So it was really super loud, and as soon as it was loud, I had to shut off the bike to make sure I don't damage it. Then when I was looking and trying to figure it out, where did I go wrong? I took the wrong throttle plates. So again, I make mistakes. Am I a professional at being a mechanic? No. Now, is there any benefits to remove your upper ones? There is benefits, but you also get losses. And I'm going to explain something about doing performance parts. regardless if it's a mod or an aftermarket piece, there is benefits and also minuses in everything that we do with our bikes or with our lives. So an example is a full exhaust can give you more horsepower, more torque, but it depends in the rev where it's going to give you that horsepower and torque. On top of that, you lose fuel mileage. You can lose stuff by putting aftermarket parts. Some of the stuff needs dyno tuning to get everything dialed in. Sometimes they can give you a map, but it doesn't, the map might not be specific to your bike, meaning that you put other modifications to it or mods, and that map that they gave you when they did the ECU flash might not still work for your bike. So a dyno tune is going to be your best bet, and take it to somebody that actually knows what they're doing, and it's going to cost money. So if you're going to do this mod, you're going to want to do this mod off of you having a power commander, because using this mod is going to free up more air, but with more air you need more fuel. You can't do the opposite where you have more air and less fuel, because now you still starve the motor for air. You're going to run lean. So I have a power commander, and if I had to, I can call up DynoJet and ask them, now that I'm adding more air, what is my safest bet to change my fuel? And what I was hearing about is better if you're going to do that, you want to go up 5% higher through your RPMs on the fuel map. Now, I'm hoping I don't have to do that when I go riding the bike and I don't really feel that it's running lean. But most likely it probably will run lean. Now, I know people were saying that you lose horsepower and torque in the lower end. But when you get into the higher RPMs, that's when everything is fully open. That's when you're going to get more torque and horsepower out of this mod. But I won't be able to tell you guys until I actually put it on the bike. And I'm hoping I can do that today. And I use JD Weld, and I don't know if you're able to see, it wasn't the cleanest job to do, but it was kind of difficult because it's all the way down there. Do I feel safe with the JD Weld? I'm gonna say I kind of do, because I did research on the JD Weld. It's 520 Fahrenheit before that JD Weld can actually melt or break off. Gas, it can sit in gas, it can sit in water, it can sit in a lot of harsh chemicals, and it won't deteriorate. At least that's what they say on their website. Now again, I don't think I want to keep this full time on the bike, meaning I really want to get a different one that is not damaged the way I damaged these ones. But if I can't, then either way, this is what I got, and if it works, it works. But yeah, if you don't want to damage your throttle body, don't do this mod. I can't tell you the benefits until I put it actually on the bike. Again, it's going to free up air. So the reason why is they have the secondary throttle plates is that there is two injectors. You got your upper injectors and you got your lower injectors. And I'm going to show that right now. So these are your upper injectors right here. That's the plug. Then you got your bottom injectors. That's your other plug. That's where fuel goes through and shoots fuel out into the cylinder. So you can see there's one up here, and there should be one at the very bottom. So yeah, there's one right there too. So you got upper and you got a lower. Now the newer bikes do not have how do I say this? Does not have two throttle plates. It just has one. But anyways, to not confuse anybody, so the top ones get controlled by this electronic piece right here. And this gets controlled by the ECU. So whatever the dealership or Suzuki set this to close, it'll close. Regardless of the situation, unless the person that did your ECU flash disables this and fully opens it to where it's sitting up straight. As soon as you hit the start button and it the injector's working, everything's working, it fully opens and it stays open consistently. Then you won't have to do this. But if they do not, you can just remove them. But yeah, the ECU controls this, and it tells the upper plates to close or open, and you can actually lose horsepower because the ECU can tell it, hey, We're gonna close you off at this certain angle, and you can be at full throttle 100%, but if the ECU says no, we're not going to give you 100%, even though this is right here, even though this is completely open, the ECU can tell this no, we want you to be, closed. So they can close this off, and no air will go through, so you lose horsepower and torque. So this is one way to guarantee that the ECU would not affect your air ratio going in. You will have your full horsepower and torque automatically. And again, you're gonna become lean until you do a dyno tune or you get a power commander. A lot of people, again, are going to tell you different things about doing this mod. I'm gonna try it out, and I'm gonna give you guys my honest opinion. But I gotta try this out before I do my brakes and rotors. Because once I do my brake and rotors, I can't ride fast and ride hard on the bike because I have to give it its brake-in mileage. Break it in gently because you can't go hard on it, because if you go hard on it, you're going to warp the rotors. So you got to break them in gently, and places where it's slow stops and stops, but you're not going to squeeze on that brake. But anyway, so I'm going to clean all the rest off, the mess that I made on the JD Weld, and I'm going to put this on today. I'm not going to be able to ride today because it's going to be cold. Tomorrow's going to be super cold. Maybe Sunday or Monday I'll be able to ride. But yeah, guys, I hope this was able to help you guys out and not to make the mistakes that I did. Or if you guys want to put in the comments on the stupid things that I do and the mistakes that I do. And yes, I know a lot of you guys can tell me, oh, that's why you send it to a dealership. I'm going to explain something real quick. I know I made this video long enough. My bike becomes personal to me when you work on your own bike, right? When you understand your bike more than anybody else does, because they send it to somebody else because they got the money to send to somebody else. I don't got the money to send it to somebody else, and that stuff is expensive. I have a better understanding of my bike than somebody else does. I know how everything works. I can be like, that's where the fuel pump line goes. This is the fuel rail. The injectors are in there. And these parts right here get controlled by the ECU. So I can tell you a lot about these parts because I actually tear them apart and I have to figure it out. Right here, these are your vacuum lines. So I can explain a lot of the stuff because I know what I'm doing by making mistakes. So I can say what works, what doesn't work for me, and make my bike tailored to my body height, my body size. And to me, I feel like my bike has better quality of running because I have a better understanding of my bike. So when I do stupid things, I can fix those mistakes and make adjustments. So when I go to drag racing and I feel something is off with my bike, guess what? I can just shut off my bike and be like, look, something's not right with my bike. I can either, tear it apart myself then and there, fix it, or I call it a day and say, no, can't do it. It needs a garage where I can actually tear it apart even more. Same thing with track days. If you have a better understanding of your bike, you won't push your bike harder knowing that it might be broken. So if you get what I'm saying. On top of that, when people give you compliments on your bike and like, oh, who did all the work? I'm like, I did it myself. They're like, wow. Yeah, so you get compliments not only for the bike being, fast or good looking, but you get more compliments that you did the job yourself. They're like, oh, are you an official mechanic? No, I'm not. I self-taught myself. I watched YouTube, or I just took it apart, put it back together. That's the best way you can tell people. But anyways, guys, I hope this was able to help you guys out. If you guys want to watch to see if this is going to benefit me, or if this was a natural disaster or anything, a video will come up and I will put on the title, removing the upper throttle plates review, whatever. I'll figure out the title and you guys will be able to see it. So subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, hit like, put comments, even if it's rude comments, because I deserve it, I'll take it. And I was like, I know I messed up. It cost me a lot of money. The one on eBay was $230, but I lost that one. Someone else bought it. But anyways, guys, ride safe, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.